Yo, what's up?
Yo, what's up? Yo, Vanilla, kick it one time.
What's going on, Amanda?
Nothing. What's going on?
All right, so first episode, this is the first video we have sat down and done a vlog, podcast, whatever, about SOE, reptiles, and exotics.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not getting back into snakes.
Yeah, okay. It's my fault. Well, I'll just get that right out of the way.
Tell the story.
So, John sends me this Facebook link to a reptile show in Nashville, and I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. Like, that sounds great. It's been a decade since we've done anything with snakes, but it's something that we've always enjoyed. And so, he's talking to Brandel about it, and Brandel's like, so you're getting back into snakes, huh? And John's like, fuck no, we're not getting back into snakes. And I'm looking at Brandel, I'm like, I'm getting a snake. I'm going to bring a retic home. And John's like, the fuck you are. You're not bringing no snake home. And I was like, I'm bringing a snake home. So we go. There was tons of stuff there that we really liked. And the market has completely changed because now all of these crazy ball python morphs are inexpensive. They're just cheap now because everybody's producing them. And ball pythons are defensive and retics are nice, and it was very interesting to see the difference. But we ended up coming home with, I came home with 2 retics, but I don't remember. I think we ended up with a black king snake and some not corn snakes, but what else did we get? I don't remember the first one.
I don't know. I got 3 or 4 cow king phases, white, black phase, different stuff, mostly banded. I got a couple of Negritas, Mexican black king snakes, and the retics. I should have got the anaconda the first time
we should have got that big retic the first time.
Yeah, there was a couple big ones. We should have got the one that the black kid
from Memphis.
I say kid, he's a grown fucking man. Out of Memphis, we should have taken that big male. That was in an 8-foot cage, I think.
That was a female.
Well, we definitely should have got that.
It was a female, and he said she was a proven breeder and she was ready to breed. But again, this is the first time we've been to a reptile show in a decade. We've been out of snakes all that time, and I was like a little hesitant because I don't have any experience with that big of a snake. But
for people listening,
we did see it a few times, and every time I was like, man, we should go back and get that. But then it was like, oh no, I don't know. We ended up not getting it. But
well, what I'm always looking for when we go to a show is we kind of walk the whole show to see what's there, and then I'm like, okay, what do you want to get? And she's like, I don't know. I'm like, well, if you don't know, then let's just go home. Let's go eat lunch and we'll come back. So we come back and I'm like, look, what do you want to get? And she's always kind of like, I'm just looking for her to be like, I totally want this thing, and that's what we'll go get. Like, if you don't really want this, I don't want to just get a bunch of stuff to fill up caging. I mean, we already have. For people listening that don't know, we have another YouTube channel called SOE Tactical Gear, and we've done tons of videos and stuff. We have a whole nother property where we had a bunch of snakes and stuff, and the snake room is still there. All the caging and the racking and everything's still there. When we brought those animals home, we didn't have any caging here. There's a office upstairs that's 10 by 30 that used to be the snake room, and we didn't like keep a bunch of snakes in there. When we would have parties, that whole front of that room is glass, so we had some caging inside that we would put cool animals inside just during the party. So we didn't have anything here to put all these animals in, so we brought them all home that night and didn't have any caging set up. So we just kept them in the, they come in like deli dishes. And I bought babies, and what she bought was pretty small. We had a couple of small cages here in the old room. So that all got set up real quick at night. And then like the next weekend, there was another show. When we stopped doing any reptiles or anything, it was 10 years ago, we would go to, I think it was a Repticon show in Franklin, and it was always really small, and it just smelled dirty. It smelled like old pet shop, and you'd go in there and there was some vendors, but like nothing like going to the new Nashville Fairgrounds building where the show was, and it was the reptile plants reptile plants.
It's like North American Reptile and Exotic
Plant show. So we went to that show, and then like the next weekend there was a show in Memphis. So we went to that show, and that was a really small show. I don't think we even bought anything. We bought nothing at all there. And then like the next weekend there was another show at Nashville. So that was a Repticon show. That was smaller. And then we went to a show in Chattanooga. So like in the last, this has all been in 2 months, and now we have 75 cages here, I think. Like still some, we've put some together, some are not put together. We've ordered what is that thing? It's 16 by 60 feet. We have a building being built that will go right next to this one over here. We have a rat house, another one that matches that. And that one's 16 by 12 just for breeding rodents. And looking at it now, I should have got a way bigger building. I'm like, I'm just going to do a few racks of rats. I should have got at least a 20-foot building, looking at that now. And there's probably over 100 animals here.
Yes.
So somebody, when they saw the rodent room, they're like, oh, typical animal hoarder, snake hoarder. That's the instant snake hoarder starter kit. I'm like, maybe snake hoarder, but I mean, we spend a lot of time and money on I spend more money feeding rats than people spend taking care of their fucking dogs and cats all year long.
Hoarder, though, typically hoarders are not clean or organized or.
Why are you looking at her like she's a hoarder?
I'm not. I'm just saying.
I'm not a hoarder.
She used to say crazy cat lady, and I had to put it into that because people are gonna like that's who they're gonna run with, crazy cat lady.
Now I'm just the crazy snake girl.
Snake girl, there we go. So what's the intention with it? Like, what do you see happening? Because you just took on another 40-hour job.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I am I'm okay with that. So I see once we get everything into the snake trailer, it will be a lot easier.
Well, she's saying trailer. We have
I'm sorry, the snake building.
The other building is probably, I don't know, 5,000 feet altogether. And then we brought in, with the other building it's at least. And then we put that garage on the back, which doubled the square footage of the upper building. We brought in, somebody traded me. We make nylon tactical gear. We have a bunch of sewing machines. If you're listening to this and don't know about SOE, I started a company 35 years ago, and we still build the same stuff. We make, bags and belts and backpacks and stuff. And a guy came in and he's like, hey, I know, I don't even know how he knew. I had mentioned about getting like a shed or something. He's like, I have a mobile home and I will trade you for some gear. So I traded him like $2,000 in bags and stuff. And he gave me a 76-foot long, 16-foot wide mobile home. And then we had to pay like $2,000 to move it, like 10 miles. It's super expensive to move those things. And that was 15 years ago, probably. Mm-hmm. So that's up the road on the other property. And that was the snake trailer. It looks like your old grandma's mobile home,
Looks like an old
meth lab trailer. And we had gutted it all out. There's still a kitchen in there. There was 2 bathrooms in there. We never hooked up any of that stuff. But we just had the front bedroom was a rat room, and then it went into like the kitchen area, living room, and that's where all the racking and cages. And in the back master bedroom, that was like the hot room where we kept all the bearded dragons and things that needed to be higher temperature. And it was always like 100 degrees in there. So she says snake trailer. We have this other building coming. It's a prefab. They call them eagle buildings around here, Amish sheds. But it's like a tiny house, except it's 60 feet. 60 feet long by 16 feet. So it's just open on the inside. There's no insulation or anything. We'll get all the wiring and insulation and everything put in a 3-bay sink and a restaurant sanitizer for dishes and for snake water bowls and stuff. And then I started watching videos, just some reptile videos over the last month or so, and now caging is totally different. I have freedom breeder racks, which is basically like your kids would have in school. It's a drawer that pulls out to put all their stuff in. And that's what they breed a lot of animals in, like especially ball pythons are bred in racks and stuff. But now they have all this, because it's coming from China. They make all these flat pack cages. They're definitely made here too, but there's caging coming in shipping containers, and it just comes in a flat pack, and then you can unfold it and basically screw it together. Some of it is just hammered together with these tension fittings, but they're nice, and they have lighting and humidity control and everything on them. And what I see is we're going to do an entire wall of caging like that. And then on the other side, we will put more traditional style caging and frogs and stuff like that, you know. But everything will have light, and we'll just shoot a bunch of video and stuff, just like we are right now. We'll just show, but from the snake room.
And eventually there will be breeding. I'm sure of that.
Yeah, we'll breed some stuff.
Does that have to be set up differently
What do you mean?
for breeding?
No, like, it depends what it is. Some animals will breed, like, you got to drop their temperature, but some stuff you don't have to. Like colubrids, which are your North American non-venomous snakes, basically. Like, think like king snake, corn snake, rat snake, your typical chicken snake, stuff like that. You drop their temperature, which will spur them to start producing follicles, like egg follicles. And then when you raise the temperature back up, you introduce the female into the male's cage, and then they breed, which basically fertilizes those eggs. And then when she lays, then you separate them after they've bred. You'll leave them in for a day or two, a couple days, depending what the animal is. And then she'll lay eggs. And you need to note whether you saw them. And just because you didn't see it happen, like, you can't sit there for 24 hours. But a lot of snakes will hook up. He will pursue her, and they'll meet, and you'll see them connected. So from that time forward, you know which animal, how long it takes to get those eggs out. But you're going to give her basically in her cage, depending how your caging is, you're going to have a box in there with like some peat moss or some sphagnum moss and some vermiculite or wet sand, damp sand. And she's typically going to go in there and lay those eggs. And that's where you're going to take those eggs from there to an incubator and then start that incubation cycle.
Or I guess in my brain I'm thinking, how many snakes come out like eggs?
Most of them. But so like boas give live birth. Everything venomous here is also live birth.
Okay.
Garter snakes are live birth. But like here we have rattlesnakes, copperheads, and cottonmouths. Those are all live birth animals. That's what I tell people all the time when they're like, hey, what kind of snake is it? That's a copperhead. And if you have one, you've probably got a dozen more, because they have live birth. And where she had those babies, she had a lot of babies. Mm-hmm. Whereas our friend James hit me up the other day, and he's like, hey, he works these big excavating jobs, and he's doing a pond for this guy on his property. He's like, I just dug up these snake eggs. Do you want them? And I said, they might be turtle. They could be, something else. And he's like, no, I cut 2 of them open. There's 12-inch snakes inside them. So I think he brought us like 10 of them. 3 of them hatched. 5 actually hatched, but we have 3 because 2 released themselves from the incubator somewhere. So I have these little chicken snakes running around. I'm sure they've made it outside, or they're just, under something in the garage or something. But we have 3 of them that we hatched out. And those are just your chicken snakes, the same things you see eating eggs. When they get bigger, you see them around chicken coops, because there's always rodents where there's, chicken food. Mm-hmm. But they do eat, chicken eggs also.
And then there's pythons that lay eggs. And
yeah, your pythons are all going to have eggs.
Big eggs.
And some of them can have 30, I think world record for a Burmese python, or maybe it was a retic, was like 75 eggs. And I had that in my head as a child. Like, I don't know what the real clutch sizes are. But I mean, those pythons that are running rampant around in, Florida and the Everglades and stuff, and they're even seeing them outside. They're seeing them on golf courses and stuff now. That's because they have such big clutch sizes, and they're the apex predators there. So
yes,
we have some Burmese pythons, which are basically that snake. Ours have different paint jobs on them, different, DNA and stuff. So we've got Burmeses and we have retics, and then we've got some other pythons. I've got like olive pythons and black-headed pythons, and basically I'm just getting things that I've always wanted. Mm-hmm. And I'm not super worried about producing them. I just want to, have them and, start adding those to the collection.
Yeah, I've only picked up things that I specifically was drawn to. I was like, I'm not just randomly buying. Oh, it's a retic, I'm gonna buy it. No, I'm buying things that I like the way this looks, and I'm not even really concerned about what possible genetics it has. I'm just like, oh, I really like those colors, and they're gonna be really pretty.
And the females get much larger than the males.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think that one guy had said that males will typically get 10 to 12 feet, and females are bigger, 14 to 16 feet usually. So that's a big old girl.
I've got a dude. I'm checking my messages right now. I got a dude. We were supposed to go to Kentucky today and pick up I think it's 16-foot albino retic. And he had it with a cage. And I had it set up where we had a few dudes going because we were moving this cage that's 250 pounds. And come to find out, the cage is not a front open. It's not an actual snake cage. It's a 250-gallon aquarium, which is huge. And the snake's a little aggressive. So the last thing I want is to have to reach over to wrangle this snake out of this fish tank. So called it off, and the dude's like, hey, if you still want the snake, like, I'll bring the snake down if you want to buy the snake. So he's on his way here right now with the snake, and that's what I was checking. So
it sounds like you're gonna have to put together one of those bigger cages.
yeah, I have a stack of 6-foot cages. We've only built 4-foot cages so far, so we're gonna shoot a video putting the 6-foot cage together on the assembly process. Cody and I have it down. We haven't put a 6-foot cage together yet, but I'm sure that they're the same as putting a 4-footer together. I was gonna say it can't
be much different.
And we have them together in under 30 minutes. And the 30 minutes is while it's on camera. If we do it by ourselves, it's probably 15 minutes to assemble one. So we'll put a stack of those together this weekend, and I think we'll move the pile of other cages just somewhere against a wall in here, the unopened ones, and so that we can stack the others in the garage once they're assembled in there.
Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait for the building to get here so that we can get everything organized and visually appealing. Like, I'm really looking forward to that.
You still have a long ways to go, though.
I know. I'm aware.
Even once the building's here, they expedited the building. We're supposed to have the building in like 3 to 4 weeks, so we probably have another week or two to go.
Yeah.
But it's going to take way longer than that. Like, all the electric has to get put in, and then the insulation has to get put in, and then the siding has to get put in, and then painting. So, like, while it seemed like a long time to get the building, it's going to be a lot longer than that till you can actually put animals inside the building.
100%. 100%. It's going to be fall by that point.
Which is nice, because Brandel won't be burning up while he's in here putting insulation in.
Yeah.
He can at least paint, if nothing else.
It'll just be like a snake playroom until then.
So,
You can just take really big snakes and let them loose inside, so they can have like what all those weirdos call it? Enrichment.
That's a whole nother thing that has changed since we were in the snake business. Like, now it's all about, you have to give your snakes enrichment, and I'm like, I don't.
I always heard reptile brain, like they can't learn repetitive things, and lizards have always seemed smarter than snakes, and I don't know that snakes recognize an individual. Maybe they do, but that's the whole. And it seems like most of the big YouTube channels, a lot of them are in Canada, so it's these hipsters, and they've got a bunch of snakes and shit, and most of the videos they make are just talking trash about other reptile YouTube channels. How they don't let their snakes out. They don't take their snakes on play dates to the snake park. Not really, but I mean, I give it a year or two, they'll have snake parks or something.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Most of my snakes don't move. They literally lay in a pile until we feed them, and then they drink some water, and then they find another place to lay in a pile, and they just sit there and they look pretty.
It's a coil. It's not like a pile.
Whatever. It's a coil. Yes. So, leave us some comments. Make sure you like and share the video. Leave us some questions so that we can answer them in the next video. I think this weekend we're getting goldfish for the water monitor and the garter snakes, and I'm pretty excited to video these little fish swimming around and these guys trying to get them.
They will. They do get them.
I'm very much looking forward to that, actually.
Yeah, they'll get them. The fish will actually jump out of the bowl as they're chasing them.
Like, I've gotten a lot of entertainment out of the garter snakes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep. All right.
All right, so we're going to put this up. Can we put this video on both channels?
Yeah.
They won't give us a strike or any silly shit. We'll put this on the SOE Tactical Gear channel. And if you're listening to it here and you're one of the subscribers over there, SOE Reptiles is the other page. And then there's also an SOE Reptiles Instagram. So check them out, and we will see you guys later.